Nostalgia. It's that sweet ache you get when something tugs you back to a different time. Often tied to a sensory trigger, a sight, a sound, it brings old memories rushing back to you. Usually those memories are softer around the edges. It's bittersweet, comforting, but potentially a little sad because it's tied to a time that's passing away, to change or loss, but not always in a tragic way. It's more about appreciating what was. For me, my childhood didn't feature many roller coasters. They were just too far away, but I do have fond memories of playgrounds that encouraged adventurous play. One of my absolutely favourite memories was visiting a miniature railway. This is where passionate engineers would share their hobbies of working steam locomotives. And just the thrill of watching a train emerge from a tunnel down a rail that led to who knows where. I remember birthday parties in the park on a sunny afternoon. It was an 8-year-old's delight to have a simple sausage on bread from the barbie, and it was Dad's pride, enough fuel for a whole afternoon of fun, with our imagination running wild amongst wooden castles adorned with climbing rope, and prisons and dungeons made from rough construction materials. We would play in there for hours. Back then, playgrounds were made with passion and there was very, very little plastic inside. On a more recent family road trip, we saw a sign for a hedge maze off the beaten track. Turns out a local winemaker had turned his entire backyard into a carefully crafted labyrinth, and he opened it to the public. As the kids got lost deep in that maze, it reminded me that new nostalgic moments were being created in that moment. And so the cycle continues, and with this park, I really just set out to capture what's important to me. So I do welcome you to this first episode of my park series. I really hope you enjoy it, and of course, we'll be sharing more tips and tricks on the journey. So let's get started. G'day everyone, it's Taggy here. Hope you're doing super well. Thank you for joining me on this little adventure through my park. It's not your typical park, but lots of detail that I'm keen to show you, and little animation tricks as well that we'll learn and go through as well. So trying to make it educational. But the idea was, come up here on the bridge and you get a full view of what lays before you. And as a kid, I guess this is really designed for getting them excited, where there's this track that leads to a tunnel. And here comes a train now to get you really excited about having a ride on that. So you'd come in here and see the beautiful gardens and the picnic area down there and the duck pond. And by the way, done some really cool little duck animations, which I want to show you how we did that as well in detail. So lots to look forward to. You got the playground to the left and the train station here on the right. So thank you to the Bro Nation crew for their encouragement to try some detailed buildings. And this was my attempt of a farmhouse that has been converted. So we're on this country hillside here, lots of texture and different variants in the bricks and stones just to make it feel rustic. The idea is it's been restored for becoming the train building. I really like the lichen and the moss on the roof and the variants in the tiles. So learned so much from the Bro Nation crew, amazing builders. It's intimidating actually doing a park series surrounded by so much talent. It's also encouraging that such a warm, friendly environment where people really egg each other on. So, hi guys, thank you so much for your support. So we'll come down here and we'll get to the duck pond at the end. But let's have a look. This is the little coffee shop, really cute little quaint coffee shop. I do love the awning and the woodwork and just the nice big blackboards with the menus written there. And you'll notice here I've got a rose bush sort of climbing up the side, and this is a custom builder I did using art shapes, making all these different roses. And once I started doing that, I got a bit obsessed, making different roses. And so over here in the garden is a number of standard roses that are sort of planted, and a standard rose is something that has been pruned to stick on like I guess the bushy part on the end of a stick for a better word, but often it's been pegged or staked and some stocking or something tied around it to keep it upright. You got older ones that don't need stakes anymore, and then this orange one which was really like an old rose bush that's been there for many years. I was thinking that could have been part of the original farmhouse. So yeah, really fun actually trying different techniques for building, and we can have a look at that as well. So we'll just come down to just a bit of a closer look of this coffee shop. The idea is that you've got this lovely little deck here, and as a parent, as these people are doing, have a nice coffee and enjoy a look out to the train station as it gets loaded up. And you can keep an eye on your kids here as they play in the sandpit and ride on these little spring rides. So I don't know if you've seen these where you're from, but in Australian playgrounds you'll often see spring-based rides like that, and you sort of get on it and bounce around and pretend you're riding a horse or whatever it might be. In this case, a bunch of fish with a little rowboat there, so the kids can climb in and out of that and pretend they're in the sea. And no doubt climb under that railing over there and just have a great old time getting in and out of the fort as well, and playing in the sandpit. So the full adventure playground we'll have a look at in a sec, but yeah, you can sit down here and just enjoy a nice cup of coffee looking at the flowers. And if you need a drink of water, I've got this little water fountain, and it's using the new event points so you can capture their attention. They're very happy to have free water. They don't seem to want to drink any though, so it would be nice to get some different reactions, but hey, I'll take it. Any interactions is good. So here we are, the adventure playground. So where I lived, there was this national park that had a few of these elements, and one of the main features was these massive wooden forts built out of permapine, like treated pine wood. And you had so much fun as a kid just running around these and sort of playing make-believe of being a prison warden or something like that, because you have these sort of bars in there where you could lock up your mates. I used to lock up my brother and he'd lock me up, and then we would throw away the key and then play chasey and running around and climbing up and down, all sorts of fun things as a kid. You've got these spinning wheels, and these guys are having a good long point. This is a pet peeve of that system where they point for so long. You got the fireman's pole. There's cobwebs, a lot of cobwebs in Australia. You'll see that all over. I think those guys are stuck. That's funny. Yes, look over there. This is a really funny eclectic pile of pipes and concrete, and obviously those guys are definitely stuck, but we'll go have a look at that. So if you come through here, this is like a pile of sewer pipes, and someone's just forged concrete all around it and then buried it in gravel. But we used to have so much fun just running through these pipes, and you'd have all these posts in the ground. You'd hop along those and then climb up on these different steps. So adventure playgrounds and playgrounds in general, I think, are a massive part of childhood. And you got your swings and your monkey bars. I really would love to see a DLC focused on playgrounds and splash pads. I think that would be an amazing addition to the game. You've got your giant climbing frame there, and this sort of asphalt colored texture does a really good job of creating that sort of recycled rubber flooring. I'm not sure what it's called, but it's like a soft landing pad, and you need that if you're going to fall off. So there is some sensibility to this park. But in typical 80s, 90s playgrounds, there'd be a lot of concrete with sharp edges like that, so if you fall off and crack your head, that wasn't too uncommon either. But here's a nice sort of climbing rope, and another area to get in here under the prison. And so it was all about make-believe, wasn't it? You'd sort of made your own fun, and some really nice shots here with the light spilling in. Great times all around. But let's go have a look inside these pipes, and you get a sense of what playing chasey was like in here. Alright, so what I used to do is hide in the pipe and wait for my turn on the swings. As soon as the hog that was on there and wanted to never give anyone else a go would get off, I'd run out and jump on it. So the pipes served that purpose. But you'd come in here It's just, you had a lot of fun. You had a different view. You'd be running through here, sliding down, wrecking your pants. Your mum would get mad at you for, scuffing all your knees up. And yeah, you just go through these pipes. So excuse my camera work here, but you got to get that perspective of climbing through. And I think the global illumination in this game really makes it work well. So yeah, that was a good fun memory. I don't know if anyone else has this. It was just a weird Australian thing, but putting little faces on there made it really fun as well. And then we had the sword and the stone. I put an event point in here so they can come in, give it a go. Good timing. Not exactly yanking it, but again, gives the impression of, something happening. So pull out the sword, and then theming this like a castle. So I imagine you could stand here and pretend to be enemies with the people in the fort over there who are still stuck. And then yeah, climbing on the monkey bars and having hands that smell like metal for afterwards. Yeah, all those memories, those smells of a playground like this were pretty iconic. One other thing as well, just looking at the back here, I really wanted this to feel like unkept area, so just a bit more weedy on the back edge where groundskeeper probably doesn't get to so much. But yeah, adding those details made a big difference. Alright, well, let's get back into the first person mode here and have a look at the back side of the fort. Got a nice slippery dip, a bit muddy there, and another soft spot, but with these rock climbing pieces made out of clay elements from the toy box. And so yeah, we have some of these, and I still need to install them. And a fireman's pole, of course, where you can slide and break your ankle and then hit your head on the corner of that. So playgrounds have come a long way, but they've lost some of their charm, if you ask me. And yeah, having real wooden texture, it just made it feel a little bit more believable when you were imagining that you were part of some army storming a castle or something fun like that. So yeah, there's a little playground. Really happy with how it turned out. Okay, so I know you bought Planet Coaster to build rose bushes, but I'll quickly show you how to make your own custom flowers. I like to use a rotating platform and to set it to deactivated static. Take two simple arc shapes like these discs, half disc and a circle. And we're going to attach it to the platform and use symmetry type and use it of a count of 5. And already you can see how easy it is to make a nice little flower. And by combining these shapes and using symmetry, get some really nice patterns. And so it's just about coming in here and rotating these and offsetting the petals so that they overlap. And you can be as creative as you like, adding different shapes and different patterns. I find something like that is very simple and effective. And if you make that a slightly darker color in the inside and then repeat it, so I'm copying it and bringing it in again, you can very quickly get a sort of custom flower. And if you rotate these up, make them a bit fuller, bit of trial and error. There's a nice little rose. And now we need to separate it. So this is the tricky bit, but it takes a bit of time. But once you've done it, then you've got a flower you can repurpose as many times as you want. So what you do is turn on a piece, and if I press X and then hit done, all its clones will disappear because I'm separating it from the moving platform. So I don't want to do that. I'm actually going to Control X to copy it and then place it there and then hit done. I'm just going to go around and do that for each petal. So it feels cumbersome and annoying, and it kind of is, but we're only doing this once and it's going to take about 1 minute. So let's go through it. And there we have it, a separated rose, and we can group that and move it around. So take the grid off now and yeah, place it where you like. And so yeah, it's quite a convincing little flower from a distance. Duplicate them and your piece count can go crazy. And of course, on the perimeter of the playground here was this really nice little view of the signal tower. And you can see the signal changing there. The little cable pulls it up. So it's implied here that they, or this lady here is pulling the levers. You can just see them there. And yeah, that pulls the cable and the signal goes down. So I learned all about semaphore signals. This is a red, the white stripe indicates the next section is now blocked because the signal is down. And yeah, they have these little lamps, and the glass will change color of the light. So I've simulated that by just basically switching the light out with a sequencer, and yeah, gives the effect that it's now green. And because it's up, that next section is free to enter, so the next train can come on in. And if we have a look at the other signals, you can learn a little bit about that as well. But semaphore signals are just the classic train piece, aren't they? Really adds to the feel. And I sort of love this little bridge, this little footbridge here to get over the train line. Again, using the queue paths. But yeah, it's just a nice little space here. So we'll go and have a look at the other signals and see how they work. But just quickly back up. So you'll notice on the back of a signal, you've got the little light. Now, it turns out that that light was so that the signal operator in the tower behind it would know that the lamp is on, like it hadn't gone out. I guess back in the day there were oil lamps or something. But so the light will shine through both sides. Now what you can see here is the yellow signal, which is the one with the black arrow, is saying the next section is now blocked, and that's why it's orange. It's not like, it's more like a caution. So it's saying, so what you would read here is the top signal is now currently showing the next section is free, you can come in, but beware that the following section is occupied. And that's why that one is showing orange. And so they're hooked up so that the signal that's down over there will be showing red. And yeah, you can really get a cool little feeling of how that works. The way it's actually working is the animation is using little micro sliders, which I've shown many times before. But the timing is based on the train. So as the train comes into this section, it's sort of like a simulated block section. So I'm going to just fast forward it and bring the train down. Here it comes. As she goes through, I've got some sound effects playing as well to give it that little interest. So yeah, it's entered to that section. That section's now blocked. As the train zooms around as it goes, watch it go through. There it is. Now the next section's coming down. So they're both blocked until it frees itself up. It's just based on some time. So yeah, really nice little detail. And I love the little counterweight on there, and the cable moves up and down, so it really looks like it's swinging. So yeah, very, very fun to make that. And little micro animatronics just come in handy. So it was cool to put in some of these techniques that I've been working on for so long. Yeah, making them all come together. Okay, moving on. We're going to come back out now of our little playground. As I said, you can come up these steps and go down to the hedge maze, but we'll come back here down toward the sort of manicured garden. You can, another nice shot of the coffee shop. And here I've got like this little edging, like I guess a welded together cogs, a bit of a yeah, linkage to the trains and all that sort of thing. It's the kind of thing you see in these sort of places, just little odd bits and pieces. And then the station itself is mostly brick and using some of the new wrought iron from the DLC. Put that in after the fact. And yeah, it's got a little clock tower up the top. Did all that brickwork, so the custom disc brick there with a mortar. Quite happy with that. And then the roof itself is like a faked perspex. So you got that sort of corrugated perspex, which don't ask. It's like, I don't know, 3,000 pieces of glass overlapping each other. Yeah, but hey, you want the detail, you got to do the deeds. And yeah, probably not the best use of pieces, but I like the effect. It looks really cool. Yeah, and so yeah, I've got the hiding gate mod on, so no more ugly gates. And what we did here in the station, and yeah, you can see the little signs and everything, and these nice little planters that sort of crawl up the building. But what we did is use the actual gate, the animated gate, and I've hooked this up to the timing of the ride. So what happens is I get a train to come around, and we'll just pop into place. Here it comes, and they'll all hop off. And because I've hidden the gate using Leaf's awesome hiding gate mod, this is just a regular gate timed to a sequence to animate, and it just looks a little bit more custom in the get. And then it will shut based on the same timing. Got the little fire hose here, and then another signal as well, which will change to a green to say that that train can now depart. There you go. Okay, so we're back outside of the train, and yeah, this is very crowded, but I don't think you'd have a queue for a ride like this. It would just be pile up, get your tickets from the station here, and yeah, you can see more of the rockwork texture. What I did like is this little garden area, so it's all about creating sort of mulched areas and just a few plants here and there, a couple of potted pieces. Maybe the remnants of a vegetable patch that would have been here, and yeah, just some detail on the building, little garden beds, all that stuff looks nice. I do like making these climbing vines using the rose bushes, and you got a bit of variety with the dead branches there as well, which looks good. Not really happy with that sign. I think I'll probably change the mini rail sign at some point. But yeah, coming on down through the area here, you can see the toilet block and the picnic area. The hose here is really interesting. That's done with distances move mod. So what you can do is use a ride as basically the basis of your model. So basically, yeah, that's actually a track, and then you align cylinders to the track, and then you just scale the whole lot down. You get yourself a nice hose, complete with a tap and little winder, and then the irrigation box on the right there, which probably waters this whole garden, and some more little sculptures made out of rotating platforms. Yeah, just a nice little pleasant scene, isn't it? Little cottage garden next to the farm building. So we'll go back through here into the barbecue area, and this is a bit of an interesting one. The toilet block, the Besser blocks, thanks to the team, the Bro Nation crew, I got the brick size right eventually. It was too big, but we had to make a lot of custom pieces to get this right. But it looks very Aussie. This is an Aussie / New Zealand type building that you would get for a toilet block. Very basic, and yeah, got lots of leaf litter up there, which is the coral pieces, which I think makes a good decoration, and a lot of piled up leaves here too from this giant oak. I think Mineral used this tree in one of his park videos, which yeah, it's a great tree, but it does create a lovely shaded picnic area. And obviously in Australia you have the barbecue. That's what we're famous for, right? Put a shrimp on the barbie. No one puts shrimps on the barbie, they put sausages on the barbie, and we have a sausage sizzle here with tomato sauce and bread, and that's what you do. Butter some bread, put your sausage on, maybe with some onion, and you put your tomato sauce, not ketchup, your tomato sauce. And these barbecues, you pay nothing. I think you just press a button and they turn on. There might be some that used to have a coin operation or something like that, but it's pretty typical that you'll find a barbecue in a park, and you can just go up and use it, and there'll be a playground next door. So yeah, it's typical people organize or grab that spot for a birthday party and enjoy a summer afternoon. And yeah, very Australian thing to do. And yeah, having the leaf litter everywhere is also very Australian. Lots of mess from the gum trees. Back up here now, we'll sort of leave that area and come around. This is largely unfinished, but started to flesh out some mechanical sort of displays. So in the train park that I visited, there was a whole range of steam engine displays, and this is where all the dads would hang out and have a good chat and point. And now with these vista points, you can really make people come and view attractions like this, which I think is really fantastic. And same with the pond over there, got vista points hidden under the ground, so they come and have a look at the pond. But by putting in these staff, it looks like they're operating the fire and keeping this thing going. And you can come up and have a chat and talk to them all about the steam engine, which is a very blokey thing to do. We had the this sort of outhouse building structure, very roughly made out of bits of old tree trunks and things like that, so it works quite well. And here's the duck pond. So I love the duck pond. It just looks really great. The ducks, I don't know, it was a really simple build using the microcontrollers, and I'm just surprised at how effective it was. I also put some of my fish in there too. You can just sort of see them swimming. They're a bit big compared to everything else. The little boat is just scaled down using the scaling mod, and we've got some bits of water coming off it to help it look like it's flowing through. But yeah, the ducks. Let's have a look at the ducks. I love how their little feet waggle and it gives them a sense of swimming. The tails flip back and forth, their heads pulsate a bit, and they look left and right as they swim around. They're actually on a figure 8 animation, so let's have a look at these ducks. So if you've seen any of my animation videos, this is not going to be a surprise to you, but there's quite a lot going on under the scene here. Mostly using my micro moving platforms to get a duck happening, and you can download those platforms on the workshop. This gives you very subtle motions, so you got the tail jiggling back and forth, the head is rotating and taking turns looking left and right, and it has a little pulsation moving forward as well to give it an impression of swimming. And the feet, these motors are just oscillating every now and then to give it a sense of paddling in the water. Now, these are basically on a rotational platform that gives it a full circle. Then when that one finishes, this one will kick in and go the other way, so you get this nice figure of 8. And the figure of 8 all happening at their own different pace gives a lot of variance, so it really looks like the ducks are swimming in the pond. And they have a little pause, but it works out really, really nicely. So yeah, I love these ducks. I think that just looks so good. In the opening scene with the light of the morning, it worked out really, really well. And you can create as many of these as you want. I've added some custom sounds just for the quacking, and that adds a lot of interest as well. So bye duckies, we're going to go now and have a quick look at the hedge maze, and then we'll wrap things up. So coming down here, you've got another shaded area. You've got the underpass back to the entrance, and as I said, we can come down here under this pass and get to the sort of the grassy lake view, which sort of features this large sculpture which would be typical in a botanical garden. You've got this sort of nice symmetry and repetition. Again, I've got a little vista point here where people can come and take a selfie of the shot with the lake. So adding those little human interactions is really nice. And the hedge maze is there as well. Got another little tap here. I think it's dripping. There it is. Someone left it dripping. And that leads us back to the playground. But yeah, we'll come down to the hedge maze. I'm not going to do a full tour of the hedge maze, but you'll get the idea. But what I wanted to show you is I really like the idea of it being unkept, not perfect. So you'll have a lot of hedge mazes made out of hedges, and it all looks perfectly manicured. In reality, places like this, they're just not pruned that well, or it might be done less regularly. And so I like the idea of this entrance gate being really overgrown, and then certain areas inside are a bit more well kept. And as you go through, I've tried to have some variety in here. I like a gravel path as well for a hedge maze. That's sort of how I've experienced it in the past, and just having different pieces sort of combined, a bit of brick wall as well. And then there's all these sort of like funny clues, like the hand here and sorry sign. So yeah, lots of dead ends. And actually there's a vista point here, so they'll come and stare at it and clap, which is kind of funny. Maybe she'll do it. Let's see. No, come back. They don't want to do it. Oh well. But lots of cool things. So I'm going to zoom out here and I'll just show you the whole park as a whole, where it stands today. There's the maze. The idea is you go through the maze and you got this nice sort of view at the end. looking out over the lake. That's your reward for getting through the maze. Maybe you can get a little badge. Have to do something a bit more elaborate there, but yeah, lots of cool things to find. The wishing well. This is funny actually. You know that Simpsons meme where Homer sort of like goes into the bush? For some reason they get stuck here. So yeah, this dude's Homer for today. And oh, I love that. Okay. Anyway, yeah. So there's my park. That's the overview. Got the playground here. I'll just give you a bit of an overview of the future plans. I was thinking like a big restaurant here with an overhanging deck looking out over the lake, which I thought would be nice. And then eventually maybe we expand to a different complex or a different owner who has a proper theme park down in this part of the map. And I've created this sort of layered hillside because I want it to be, yeah, feel like you're in the hills properly. The idea is that you come up the main road here and there's this sort of car park area that wraps around the top of the hill. And if you continue up the road, there's a bit of a bridge and up the cliff here where the train line comes around. There'll be a bit of a lookout here. Maybe we'll do a sky lift or something across the ravine into the lake. Lots of opportunities. And when you look at, oh gosh, all that detail is in that tiny amount of the map. Got a lot of work to do, but it's going to be fun. So the stream will continue down here, and I want to do like a natural waterfall area here using all the waterfall hacks and things, but also create some natural water slides. So where I remember a holiday we went on, we went to like this sort of rock formation where you could slide down natural rock, like it built into the cliffside. So I thought that'd be a cool thing to try. We'll see how it goes. So there you go. Thank you so much for joining me on my first episode. Yeah, hopefully it gets easier from here. I really do appreciate it. If you can, yeah, like and subscribe, that really helps me out as a channel. Thank you so much. And yeah, if you got any feedback, comments, I'd really love to hear what you think. What works, what could be better. I'm all ears for constructive criticism. That would be wonderful. But yeah, again, big shout out to the Bro Nation crew. Thank you so much for your support and love. I really appreciate it. And for everyone else who's joined on the journey and been waiting for me to do something, hope it lived up to the expectations. It's not really a theme park, but it certainly is something, yeah, unique to me. So hope you enjoyed it. Until then, folks, hope you have a great one. We'll see you on the next one. Cheers. Bye.